Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm going to be filming my wrap-up video. Milo, you can't snore, Milo. Shh, you can't snore. If you hear snoring or dog noises, that's because my big dog is laying right next to me, so he's laying on my chair and he kind of makes these whining noises, so if you hear that, that's what those are. You guys are used to my dogs by now, I hope so. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to be doing my April... Did I intro this video with March wrap-up? I'm going to be doing my April wrap-up video. This is going to be a pretty boring wrap-up because I have been reading one book for the whole month, and then I read a couple of romance novels throughout the month, and they weren't like anything very special. I read a few... Oh crap. I forgot to grab one book. There are a few books that I read new releases of, and I just did an update video on what I was reading, which is just me rambling about the book that I'm loving right now and also about video suggestions and those types of things, updates that's going on in my life. I just totally sat down and vented to you guys. Milo, I said no whining. So if you want to check that out, you can, but I'll just let you know what I'm reading right now because it's the same book, if you can believe that. Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. I need my phone. Okay, the first book that I read this month was a new adult novel, and it is a sequel to a novel that I read a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago I want to say, and it is called Play, and I don't know who it's by. I forgot who it was by. I'm so unprepared for this. I want to say it's Kylie Scott, but it's the sequel to the book Drive, right? No, Lick maybe? I think it's Lick. Which is just, these books are just basically about this group of rock stars and finding love. I ended up giving this book a 3.5 stars. I did not enjoy it as much as the first one, and I had problems with it. Though thinking back on it now, I did enjoy it and I would recommend it if you like new adult, but just, it was just lacking something. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't what I was expecting. I was kind of disappointed, but I still liked the story, so 3.5 stars it was. The next book that I read was a fantasy novel, and that's Furies of Calderon by Jim Butcher. I did a review for this, and I'll link that down below if you want to take a look at it. This is a, I don't know if it's high, yeah, I would consider it high fantasy series about a bunch of characters and their journey their journey to stop this savage being called the Marat of taking over their world. And this world is really complex. It's not super complex, but it has some complex themes, and I explain it all in my review, so if you want to know more, check it out. I know Reagan raves about this book, and I picked it up because she raves about it, and it delivered. I gave it a 4.5 stars because there's just a few things that I had problems with. I know that this book can live up to the potential of being an amazing series, so I'm gonna definitely give the rest of the books in the series a try because I'm going to love it. I already know. That was just ugh. Okay. The next book I read was another new release, and that is The Will by Kristen Ashley. This is a new series that she's starting called the Magdalene series. I think that's how you pronounce it, and it's about this girl who she lives like this high fashion life. She's always on travel. She works for a famous photographer. She's always doing something, and she's older, about in her 40s, late 40s. Her favorite grandma died, and so she goes back to her small town where she grew up in called Magdalena. I can't say it now because I said it perfectly the first time, but it's just this small town in Massachusetts, and she goes back to go to her funeral obviously and tie up all the loose ends, listen to her will. Anyway, during the will reading, she meets this guy named Jake Spear, and her grandma wrote in the will that Jake Spear now owned her granddaughter. That makes no sense, and it was totally weird, and when I was a little skeptical going into it because it sounded so weird, just sounded like the most random thing, and how it all played out was really cute. I enjoyed the characters. I got a little annoyed with the main character, but not too often, only a couple of times. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. She talked really differently, which was really fun. It added something really cool to the story, but I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because Kristen Ashley deserves a 5 out of 5 for everything. I cannot wait for The Promise, which is the next book in her Berg series. I'm so excited. She just released her chapters. If you care anything about Kristen Ashley, I'll link her I'll link her, I can't get it out of my head, I want to say channel. I'll link her website down below so you can check out those chapters if you've read the Berg series. I don't know, not many people have, but I love that series and I love the characters that are going to be in that book, and I'm so excited. I'm not going to tell you who it is though, because if you haven't read it, that's a spoiler. So yeah, that is the next book that I read. The next book I started in between, I started before I started The Will and finished it after a couple weeks after, not a couple weeks, but a couple days after, and that is Hector by Elizabeth Reyes. This is part of her North Street series, and I think my brother's here. Shoot. Part of her North Fifth, that's a street here, a Fifth Street series, and it's a boxing series, and this is a new adult novel where the rest of the books are adult, and I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, but the main character was just too much. I just could not handle her, and I did not like her at all. I liked Hector, who is the guy main character. He's really sweet and funny, and I really liked him, but I just did not like the female character, and she kind of ruined it for me, so my nose itches. So I ended up giving a 3.5 stars. I have only read a couple books. Okay, my brother's here, I'll be right back. No, it took me like 45 minutes to do my hair like this, and the wind just makes it so flat. So I had to go run to my job really quick and get lunch and all that stuff with my brother. So I left in the middle of making a video, and now I don't recall what I was talking about. No, I know I was talking about Hector, which is a book that I read, and it was by Elizabeth Reyes, new adult novel. Didn't like the heroine, didn't like the girl, the female character. I've read a couple of the books of, that's where I was at. I read a couple of the books out of that series, the Fifth Street series. I read 2 books, I think, or 3 books out of that series, and I enjoyed it, but for some reason this one just didn't do it for me, and I gave it a 3.5 stars. I'd still recommend reading it if you are into new adult, because it had good elements and I liked some of the story. I just did not like the girl character. Alright, let's move on. Now, at this point, like I was saying, at this point I started Way of Kings and I went out of town, so I was reading Way of Kings mostly, but it was still slow moving, so I just picked up a couple of novels in between, just romance novels in between, so that way I could still read something at night and didn't have to read Way of Kings. So the first one that I picked up was Trouble with Tomboys, and this is actually a reread for me. I reread it. I read it a couple of years ago, and I remember enjoying it so much. I like that book so much, and I reread it and I still like it so much. I love the way the author tells the story. It's so much fun, and it's not anything serious at all, and if you like romance novels, I totally recommend it. It's really, really good. I'm pretty sure she's a self-published author. Let me tell you quickly what that book is about. It's about this girl who's obviously a tomboy, and she flies planes for a living. Her dad owns a hangar, and so her brothers and her fly planes all the time. She takes this guy named Grady out on a plane to Houston, which is like a 2-hour drive, so they just flew, and they have this one night together, and his wife has just passed away a couple of years ago. His wife and his baby, she died giving birth, so it's like this crazy emotional ride for him. She turns up pregnant, and so it's kind of how they deal with that and how much she's different than his wife and all these types of things. I love all the feelings it gave me, and it was a good story. I really liked it. I ended up giving that book, by the way, 4.5 stars, 4 stars, because it was really good and I really liked it. The next one that I read was Price of a Kiss. Wow, I don't really remember this one. It was good, I remember that. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, okay, so I read this when I was on vacation too. This is about a girl, this is another new adult novel, and this is about a girl who had an abusive boyfriend, and she moves away for college, and she meets this guy named something that I can't remember, and he's a gigolo. And so they really like each other, but he's ashamed of what he does, and he's doing it to help his mom, and he doesn't want to like put that on the girl, and she doesn't want to be with him because she can't share and all that stuff. It's just a bunch of drama, and I really like this story. It was by the same author, and if I can remember her name, that would be freaking amazing. I can't remember her name, but I promise I'll have pictures up, and I apologize. I'm just not prepared for this, obviously. And the last book that I read this month was it's a romance novel. Hold on. You got this, girl. You got this. Okay. Sorry, this feels so rushed. I'm just trying to get this out of the way so I can do my homework and stuff like that. It's been a busy day. What? Come here. The last book that I read this month, and the last book that I finished this month was Dirty by Megan Hart. This book was surprisingly good. I picked it up one night because I think it was when I did my book haul, that was the night I picked it up. I was like, man, I wonder if this is any good. It has just really an air of mystery about it, and so I was like, I wonder if it's really good. So I picked it up and I read it in one sitting. Now, that being said, it's not that good. It's just that I was in the mood to read and had time to read, and I read it pretty quickly. It's a fast read. This is about a girl who has a troubling past, and she's kind of living her life right now as just work and home and just black and white, doesn't really do anything, just kind of living in this not really living type of situation. That doesn't make any sense, but that's kind of her deal. And she meets this guy named Dan at a candy store, and he kind of just throws himself into her life and tries to break into her shell and all that kind of cliche stuff. And this was actually surprisingly good. Like I said, I've heard a lot about Megan Hart. Well, I haven't really heard a lot, but I've seen Hannah from Bookworms Talk with Hannah really enjoys Megan Hart, and so is someone knocking on the door? No. Okay. I saw that Hannah really has a lot of Megan Hart, so that's why I picked it up, and I really enjoyed it, and I plan on picking up other books by her because she's got such a really nice way of writing stuff. This is an adult book, and it does feature adult themes, but there is just this kind of poetic way she writes, and I just really enjoy it. This book's a little dated. I think it came out in 2005. And so I'm hoping that, 2007, so I'm hoping that her newer books are a little more established, or, you know, a little more put together. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just hoping that I like those a lot more. I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars or a 4 stars. Let's check. Let's double check so that way I don't give you the wrong stars, because then what's the point? Oh, I gave it a 4 stars. So I ended up giving this a 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it, and if you like romance, I recommend you pick it up. Let's get on to what I'm reading currently. Now, like I said, if you've seen my what I'm reading video, you know what I'm currently reading, so that's not going to be a surprise, but I'm currently in more than the middle of The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, and it's so funny. I thought Furies of Calderon was a big book, but compared to carrying around this bad boy, it's nothing. So I'm listening to the audiobook too, so I'm about 730 pages in, so I'm more than halfway done, and I'm hoping that I can finish this within the next week or two because I need to start getting on to more books. I have a ton of books that I want to read, and not saying this isn't good or anything, but it is time consuming, and it's just, you know, one of those things. It's so good though. Highly recommended. I swear it's the best fantasy book I've read so far. Brandon Sanderson is an amazing, amazing writer. I just can't even. I don't even know. But I highly recommend this series. I can kind of give you a little bit of a synopsis, I guess. It's really complex, so just be prepared. But this is basically about another handful of characters, the main ones being Kaladin, Shallan, and Dalinar, and they are living in this world where there's just so much going on. It's a completely just crazy. It's like very in-depth world. But there's these things called high storms, and they produce stormlight, and that's kind of the main component in this whole thing. And there's a whole religious system, multiple religious systems, multiple kingdoms, multiple things. It's just a crazy setup, and it's just so good. I don't even know how to explain it, but we're just gonna go with it. So that's what I'm currently reading, and I was supposed to finish it this month, but I just, you know, it's a long book. So hopefully I can finish this between now and like next week. I hope so. So yeah, that was my wrap up for this month. Not too exciting. I didn't really read a whole lot, but that's okay because I really enjoyed what I did read, namely The Way of Kings, and it's a lot of fun to read. So alright, I'm going to stop gushing about it. Let's move on to some books that I'm going to be picking up right after I finish Way of Kings. I already have them set in stone. I'm going to be picking them up. Goodness. So this can technically be my May TBR video as well, but I'm going to be hopefully picking up a lot of books this month, so these aren't the only ones, but these are the ones for sure I'm picking up right away because I want to read them so bad. The first one is The Bitter Kingdom by Ray Carson. This is going to be the book that I pick up immediately after I finish Way of Kings. This is the third and final book. Did I already say that? The third and final book to the Girl on Fire Thorn series, and I highly recommend the series. It is so good. Even if you don't read fantasy, I highly, highly recommend it. If you like Shadow and Bone, you would love this series. I'm not kidding. Next one that I want to pick up is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer, and this book is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles series, and the reason why I threw this one in here is because it's not fantasy per se, but it's not fantasy. It's science fiction, and it's about a whole different world, so it still's got those fantasy elements that I want to read, but it throws in science fiction, and I just want to get on with this trilogy so I can finish this one as well. I've heard really good things about this, and someone's knocking on my door. Damn it! 1 second. Alright, this is just the worst time to film a video, but I'm almost done, I swear. So the last book that I'll be picking up after Scarlet, or maybe before Scarlet, who knows, because I really want to pick this book up, that is The Academ's Fury, which is the second book in the Codex Alera series by Jen Butcher, and I'm so excited for these books. This is a tight paperback, man. How am I going to read it? Oh, it's not too bad. But anyways, that is the few books I'm going to be reading. There's some that I haven't hauled yet that I'll probably read because I'm really super duper excited for them. Hopefully I can pick up a lot of books this month because I feel like reading all the books. Alright, so anyways, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books or if you want any other reviews on these books. I'm sure you probably don't. But if you do, let me know down below and I'll make those for you. And also let me know if you filmed a wrap-up video and I'll check that out. Just link it down below and I'll go check that out. And if you don't have a YouTube channel and you want to tell me what you read this month, let me know that down below too, because I'd love to see what you guys are reading, and if you're enjoying them, enjoying what? I didn't even say books. I want to see what you guys are reading and enjoying this month. Okay, that's it for this video. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. So, alright. Let me know what you guys are reading next month too. Let's just talk about all the books we're going to be reading. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great rest of your month, and, well, next month, because this is the last day of the month. And I will see you in the next one. Bye! Do I talk too fast? Okay, bye. Whatever.